Hey folks, welcome back to yet another episode of Yash Dubel's Book Club. The book we are reviewing today is Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less by Greg McKeown. More about this book on the other side of the intro. We all understand what essentialism means, the word itself. But what's the difference between an essentialist and a non-essentialist? So the author states a very good pictorial representation of this in this small diagram. So the energy which one uses in various directions doesn't go far. That's a non-essentialist approach. Whereas if you channel all your energy in one direction, you get some results, and that's an essentialist approach. This book, mind you, is not about how to get more things done. No, it's about how to get the right things done. So I'll go ahead and read some excerpts from this book, and which I found very fascinating, and I thought I should share it with the viewers. One reason is that in our society we are punished for good behavior, that is saying no, and rewarded for bad behavior, that is saying yes. The former is often awkward in the moment, and the latter is often celebrated in the moment. It leads to what I call the paradox of success. Isn't that so damn true? At the top of the list, I wish I had had the courage to live a true life to myself, not the life others expected of me. We are all guilty of living our lives for someone else, and I think it's high time that we change our approach to living life. Live life for yourself, not for others. So Johnson & Johnson bounced back from the tragic cyanide murder scandal in 1982. At the time, Johnson & Johnson owned 37% of the market, and Tylenol was their most profitable product. Then reports surfaced that 7 people had died after taking Tylenol. It was later discovered that these bottles had been tampered with. How should Johnson & Johnson respond? The question was a complicated one. Was their primary responsibility to ensure the safety of their customers by immediately taking all Tylenol products off chemist shelves? Was their first priority to do PR damage control to keep shareholders from dumping their stock? Or was it their duty to console and compensate the families of the victims first and foremost? Fortunately for them, they had the credo, a statement written in 1943 by then chairman Robert Wood Johnson that is literally carved in stone at Johnson & Johnson headquarters. Unlike most corporate mission statements, the credo actually lists the constituents of the company in priority order. Customers are first, shareholders are last. Extremely few companies follow this. Customers are first, shareholders are last. As a result, Johnson & Johnson swiftly decided to recall all Tylenol, even though it would have a massive impact to the tune of up to $100 million. The safety of customers or $100 million, not an easy decision, but the credo enabled a clearer sense of what was most essential. It enabled the tough trade-off to be made. We can try to avoid the reality of trade-offs, but we can't escape them. So various times the author has been talking about trade-offs, and what does that mean? Stick to what you feel is right. Do not just do it because other people would feel that this is right. The author then quotes a book which I had reviewed last week or a couple of weeks ago by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, The Flow. But then as we get older, something happens. We are introduced to the idea that play is trivial. Play is a waste of time. Play is unnecessary. Play is childish. Unfortunately, many of these negative messages come from the very place where imaginative play should be most encouraged, not stifled. School. The word school is derived from the Greek word schole, meaning leisure. Yet, our modern school system, born in the Industrial Revolution, has removed the leisure and much of the pleasure out of learning. The 90% rule. As you evaluate an option, think about the single most important criterion for that decision, and then simply give the option a score between 0 and 100. If you rate it any lower than 90%, then automatically change the rating to 0 and simply reject it. This way, you avoid getting caught up in indecision or worse, getting stuck with the 60s or 70s. If it isn't a clear yes, then it's a clear no. Okay, Professor Bill Meehan, who spent 30 years with McKinsey advising CEOs and senior leaders on strategy and now teaches a class called the Strategic Management of Nonprofits at the Stanford School of Business. When I took his course as a postgraduate, one of the assignments he gave us was to evaluate the vision and mission statements of nonprofit organizations. As the class reviewed more than 100 examples, they noticed that some of the most grandiose were actually the least inspiring. For example, one had the mission to eliminate hunger in the world. But given that there were just 5 people in the organization, the mission felt like little more than empty words. Then, out of the cluttered landscape of such loose idealism, came a statement we all immediately understood and were inspired by. It was from a slightly unexpected place. The actor, social entrepreneur Brad Pitt, who, appalled by the lack of progress in rebuilding New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, had started an organization called Make It Right, with the essential intent to build 150 affordable green storm-resistant homes for families living in the lower Ninth Ward. That statement took the air out of the room. The concreteness of the objective made it real. The realness made it inspiring. It answered the question, how will we know when we have succeeded? And then amongst many things, one of the things which the author talks about is the sunk cost bias. I liked it, so I thought I should share that as well. One reason is a very common psychological phenomenon called sunk cost bias, which is the tendency to continue to invest time, money or energy into something we know is a losing proposition simply because we have already incurred or sunk a cost that cannot be recouped. But of course, this can easily become a vicious cycle. The more we invest, the more determined we become to see it through and see our investment pay off. The more we invest in something, the harder it is to let go. Alright, and then to conclude, we have clarity of purpose which leads us to success. But with our success, we get new options and opportunities. This sounds like a good thing. But remember, these options unintentionally distract us, tempt us, lure us away. Our clarity becomes clouded and soon we find ourselves spread too thin. Now, instead of being utilized at our highest level of contribution, we make only a millimeter of progress in a million directions. Ultimately, our success becomes a catalyst for our failure. The only way out of this cycle is the way of the essentialist. The author quotes Dalai Lama, "If one's life is simple, contentment has to come. Simplicity is extremely important for happiness." With this, I would like to end this week's episode. I hope you like it. Give it a thumbs up. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Take care. Cheers.